"You're just a therapist, not an innovator," Dr. Alan Pierce sneered, his voice cutting through his sleek Seattle office. Maya Torres, sat across his glass desk, watching him toss my resilience pathway system notes aside. "We'll fold this into our protocols, under my name." My life's work, a breakthrough for teen anxiety, was being stolen. I said nothing, my calm masking a storm. That March morning, I began planning to expose him, my silence sharper than his words. At 34, I'd spent 7 years at Horizon Wellness Center, crafting a method that helped teens like my daughter, Lila, 15, conquer anxiety. The resilience pathway system blended cognitive therapy, mindfulness, and peer mentoring, creating resilience bridges for kids to cross from fear to confidence. I'd seen silent teens speak, self-harmers heal. Dr. Pierce, a business PhD, not a clinician, saw my work as his ticket to fame. He leaned back, smirking. "You'll get credit as a team member, Maya, but leadership drives innovation." His plan: present my method as the Pierce Response Protocol at the National Mental Health Conference. My chest tightened, but I nodded, my silence a shield. Raised by a single mom with untreated anxiety, I'd vowed to help kids like me. Dr. Pierce's theft wouldn't stop me. I left his office, his smug voice echoing. He thought me powerless, a cog in his machine. He was wrong. My silence wasn't defeat, it was strategy. I'd built this method from late nights and heartbreak, and I'd protect it. As I drove home, Lila's face, her own anxiety battles, fueled me. Dr. Pierce's betrayal was personal, but my response would be professional and unstoppable. The Chicago Hilton's auditorium buzzed with mental health professionals, their murmurs blending with the hum of anticipation. Maya Torres, sat in the back row, my heart pounding as Dr. Alan Pierce took the stage at the National Mental Health Conference. He was presenting my resilience pathway system, rebranded as the Pierce Response Protocol, as his own creation. My life's work, stolen, was being paraded before 500 colleagues. Lila, my 15-year-old daughter, sat beside me, her presence a quiet anchor. My silence hid a brewing plan to reclaim my truth. Dr. Pierce, in a tailored gray suit, clicked through slides showcasing my case studies, my outcome data, my resilience bridges for teen anxiety. "The Pierce Response Protocol revolutionizes adolescent therapy," he declared, his voice smooth. "Through cognitive techniques, mindfulness, and peer support, we've transformed treatment-resistant teens." I developed those methods over 4 years, watching kids like Lila find their voices. Now, he claimed my breakthroughs, never having led a session himself. The audience nodded, scribbling notes. A colleague, Sarah, whispered, "Maya, isn't this your work?" I forced a smile, my silence deliberate. Lila squeezed my hand, her eyes narrowing at Pierce. My notes, shared with him under quality assurance, were now his slides, my words his script. He described peer mentoring as if he'd designed it, not me, who'd spent months perfecting group dynamics. The resilience bridge concept, my term for guiding teens past fear, was his keynote flourish. Questions came. "How did you develop such a novel approach?" a therapist asked. Pierce smiled. "Innovation requires vision. As director, I oversee calculated risks, ensuring breakthroughs are scalable." My nails dug into my palms. He'd never felt the weight of a teen's trust, never stayed late refining protocols. Yet, he basked in applause for courage I'd earned. Lila whispered, "Mom, why aren't you saying anything?" Her worry mirrored my colleagues' glances, Sarah, Raj, others who knew my method. I whispered back, "Silence is my weapon, Lila. He'll expose himself." I'd seen his error, promising results he couldn't sustain without my expertise. His theft was public, witnessed by hundreds, creating a trap I'd spring later. As Pierce networked post-presentation, booking speaking gigs, I slipped out, Lila beside me. In the hotel lobby, I opened my laptop, emailing Dr. Elena Vasquez, a university researcher who'd admired my work. "I need your help to document my method," I wrote, attaching my original notes, timestamped before Pierce's tenure. She replied instantly, "Let's publish a paper." My silence wasn't defeat, it was evidence building. Back in the auditorium, Pierce's voice echoed, promising follow-up data he couldn't produce. I'd documented every session, every outcome, knowing he'd falter. My colleagues' whispers grew. Sarah texted, "We know it's yours." Lila's pride fueled me. Pierce thought he'd erased me, but my silence was rewriting the narrative. The conference stage was his, but the truth would be mine. Back in Seattle, I sat in my Horizon Wellness Center office, the Puget Sound gray outside. Dr. Pierce's theft at the Chicago conference, claiming my resilience pathway system as his own, burned, but my silence was my shield. I, Maya Torres, wasn't defeated, I was building a case to expose him. My laptop glowed with timestamped notes, session logs, and patient outcomes, all predating his Pierce response protocol. My goal: restore my work's integrity and protect the teens it served. I began documenting rigorously, every session a brick in my evidence wall. My method, blending cognitive therapy, mindfulness, and peer mentoring, had helped 47 teens in 3 years. I logged each resilience bridge crossed, teens like 16-year-old Sam, now a peer mentor after years of panic attacks. These weren't Pierce's victories, they were mine, and I'd prove it. My contract, reviewed late at night, confirmed my innovations were mine, developed on personal time with my resources. I emailed Dr. Elena Vasquez, the researcher who'd offered to collaborate. "Let's publish," I wrote, sending my original protocols. She replied, "This is groundbreaking, Maya. We'll need control groups, stats, peer review." Her study would cement my method's timeline, exposing Pierce's fraud. I evolved my approach, adding resilience mapping to trace anxiety triggers, outpacing Pierce's stolen version. Pierce strutted through the clinic, scheduling more talks, unaware of my plan. He requested my patient data, claiming, "We need outcomes for a journal." I smiled. "Which metrics, Dr. Pierce? My updated method or last year's?" His pause betrayed ignorance. He hadn't led a session, couldn't replicate my results. "Just compile everything," he snapped, stress cracking his facade. Lila noticed my late nights. "Mom, you're obsessed," she said, her 15-year-old eyes worried. I explained Pierce's theft, my plan to expose him. "It's for kids like you, Lila, who need real help." She hugged me, her trust grounding me. Colleagues like Sarah sensed my shift. "You're quiet, Maya. Everything okay?" I nodded, inviting her to observe sessions, building witnesses to my ongoing work. By June, I'd documented 1,200 hours of sessions, 82 patient improvements, and 14 new techniques. Elena's study progressed, our paper drafted. Pierce's arrogance grew. He promised scalable results he couldn't deliver. My silence wasn't retreat, it was strategy, ensuring his lies would unravel. Lila's pride, my patient's progress, and my evidence fueled me. Pierce had stolen my work, but I'd reclaim it, proving truth outlasts theft. 6 months after Chicago, I, Maya Torres, sat in my Seattle office, my resilience pathway system evolving beyond Dr. Pierce's stolen version. My silence was a weapon, my evidence a fortress. I documented every session with scientific precision, 1,500 hours, 95 patient improvements, 18 new techniques like resilience mapping for trauma-linked anxiety. Timestamped notes, colleague observations, and patient testimonials formed an unshakable case, predating Pierce's Pierce response protocol. My goal wasn't revenge, it was justice for my teens and my work. Dr. Pierce faltered. A journal requested follow-up data for his protocol, exposing his inability to replicate my results. He cornered me, tense. "Maya, I need your outcomes, success rates, long-term data." I smiled. "Which version, Dr. Pierce? My current method or the one you presented?" His silence confirmed he hadn't led a session, relying on my stolen notes. "Just send everything," he muttered, sweat on his brow. I provided outdated data, knowing he'd fail scrutiny. I collaborated with Dr. Elena Vasquez, our research paper nearing completion. We tested my method with 30 teens, achieving 85% improvement rates, documented with control groups. Elena said, "This is publishable, Maya. It'll redefine adolescent therapy." My advanced techniques, targeting social media anxiety, eating disorders, left Pierce's static theft behind. He gave repetitive talks, promising results he couldn't deliver, while I built a legacy. Lila, 15, became my ally. "Mom, you're fighting for us," she said, reading my journal entries about late-night protocol refinements. Her own anxiety battles fueled her pride. She joined a peer mentoring group, thriving under my method, proof of its power. Colleagues like Sarah and Raj observed sessions, signing witness statements. "We see your work, Maya," Sarah said. Their support countered Pierce's isolation tactics. Pierce's claims grew grandiose, licensing his protocol, training programs, while journals questioned his data gaps. A conference organizer emailed me, "Is Pierce's method yours?" I replied, "Review my upcoming paper." My silence let his lies amplify, setting a public trap. By September, I'd logged 2,000 session hours, my evidence bulletproof. Elena's study was submitted, promising a timeline to bury Pierce's fraud. My silence was building truth, ensuring my teens' victories weren't stolen. In October, I, Maya Torres, shared my evidence with colleagues at Horizon Wellness Center, my silence giving way to truth. I invited Sarah, Raj, and 4 others to my office, presenting my Resilience Pathway Systems documentation, 2,000 session hours, 95 patient successes, timestamped notes predating Dr. Pierce's theft. "He stole my work," I said, showing Elena's draft paper. Their shock turned to outrage, awakening a collective resolve to expose his fraud. Sarah gasped, reading my logs. "Maya, we used your method in groups, thinking Pierce designed it." Raj nodded. "He never led a session, always oversaw yours." They'd seen Pierce's arrogance, his vague answers about his protocol. I shared witness statements they'd signed, unaware of their power. "You're our proof," I said. They agreed, their testimony to testify, their loyalty shifting to integrity over Pierce's authority. Lila nodded. "You were proud," her 15-year-old said, reading my journal. "I'm with you." Entries said, her eyed pride skipped. She joined her my daughter, Lila, learned peer the mentoring stakes. Sessions, "You sacrificed for kids like me," her confidence a mirror of my method's impact. "I'm with you, Mom," she said. Her hugging trust me, her trust was my anchor. Colleagues said, "We've seen," confronted Pierce's lies and were a staff meeting. I pressed, his face flushed. Sarah asked, "Why's Maya's presence at identical home to her wise paper?" Pierce's said, "She's a teen-year member, our work overlaps." Raj pressed, "We've seen her sessions for teens, for truth." My silence had sparked a reckoning, uniting colleagues to restore my work. Pierce's name, ensuring his silence theft wouldn't sparkled, but my silence truth had. The room buzzed with tension. Pierce avoided me, his confidence cracking. Colleagues whispered support, "We're happy to be behind you," I said. They agreed to testify. Lila's presence at home, her questions about resilience, reminded me why I fought, for kids like her. My silence, for teens, for truth. My silence had sparked a reckoning, uniting colleagues to restore my name, ensuring Pierce's silence theft wouldn't sparkled, but my truth had. In March 2026, our paper, Resilience Pathway System, a novel approach to adolescent anxiety, published in the Journal of Psychology, triggered Dr. Pierce's downfall. I, Maya Torres, watched as the National Mental Health Ethics Board investigated his theft of my method. My evidence, 2,500 session hours, 100 patient outcomes, timestamped notes, proved my authorship, predating his claims. Pierce's response protocol was exposed as fraud, his career collapsing under scrutiny. The board's inquiry found Pierce guilty of intellectual theft. Horizon Wellness Center's grants, tied to his innovations, were revoked, sparking a financial crisis. Insurance providers questioned his treatments, threatening coverage. Pierce resigned, his license under review, his speaking circuit dead. Colleagues confirmed he'd never led sessions, only stolen my notes. Lila, 15, beamed at the news. "You won, Mom," she said, her trust in my silence complete. My paper, co-authored with Dr. Elena Vasquez, earned accolades, redefining teen therapy. Journals that featured Pierce issued retractions, citing my work. My silence wasn't vengeance, it was truth, protecting my teens' progress and my integrity. The clinic scrambled, but I thrived, consulting on new programs. My silence had exposed Pierce, not through malice, but by letting his lies fail. As Lila and I planned a summer trip, I knew my resilience had rebuilt my legacy, proving honesty outshines fraud. A year after Dr. Pierce's downfall, I, Maya Torres, stood in my new Seattle Therapy Center, Resilience Pathways, funded by grants for my published method. The space glowed with soft blues, teen art on the walls, a haven for anxious kids. Lila, now 16, helped design a peer lounge, her laughter echoing as we hung fairy lights. "Mom, this is for kids like me," she said, her pride warming me. My silence had turned betrayal into a legacy, my life reborn with purpose. We'd moved to a cozy craftsman home, bought with my consulting fees. Lila's room was a riot of purple, her sketches pinned up. We cooked tacos together, music blaring, giggling over spilled salsa. My center trained 50 therapists in my Resilience Pathway system, its Resilience Bridges helping 200 teens nationwide. Clients like Sam, now a college freshman, mentored new kids, proof of my method's power. "You saved me, Maya," he wrote, his note framed on my desk. My book, Resilience Pathways, Transforming Teen Anxiety, hit shelves, its launch packed with colleagues and patients. Sarah, now my co-director, toasted me, "You reclaimed your truth." My method, blending cognitive therapy, mindfulness, and peer mentoring, was taught in universities, my name synonymous with innovation. Journals cited my work, my TED Talk scheduled for spring. Contrast Pierce's fate, unemployed, his license revoked, living in a small Tacoma apartment. His speaking gigs vanished, his protocol a cautionary tale. He emailed once, pleading for a meeting, claiming misunderstandings. I didn't reply, my silence had spoken. Lila said he'd called her, voice broken, admitting fault. I told him, "You're unstoppable, Mom," she grinned, tossing a soccer ball. Our garden bloomed with herbs and sunflowers, Lila planting rows as we laughed over her crooked lines. We hosted therapy group picnics, teens sharing stories under string lights. These moments, healing, joyful, replaced Pierce's theft. My journal, once filled with late-night protocols, now held Lila's milestones, her first debate win, her anxiety fading. I sent Pierce a copy of my book, inscribed, "Truth Builds What Theft Destroys." Certified mail confirmed he received it, silent since. My center grew, a second branch planned in Portland. Lila, applying to colleges, wrote her essay on my fight, calling me her hero. My silence had built this, a life of impact, love, not lies. As we baked cookies, Lila's laughter filling our home, I knew I'd won by letting truth shine. My silence turned theft into triumph. By staying quiet, I, Maya Torres, let Dr. Pierce's lies unravel, restoring my Resilience Pathway system's truth. My Seattle center thrives, helping teens like Lila, now 16, whose confidence mirrors my method's power. Lila's sketches adorn our home, her college dreams blooming, while Pierce, alone in Tacoma, faces the silence he tried to impose, his career a ruin. My silence wasn't weakness, it was strength, proving integrity outshines fraud. My book, Center, and Teens' victories are my legacy, built on truth. If this story of quiet resilience moved you, hit like. My favorite moment was Maya's evidence trapping Pierce. Yours? Lila's pride? The paper's publication? Share below and subscribe for more tales of truth prevailing.